Say top of the afternoon to you. I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone and tell you thank you for taking the time out to tune in to my show, because without you guys, I would not have a show. So let me set these privacy settings real quick, and then we'll be ready to go. All right, how y'all doing, man? And it's always an honor and a pleasure to come and hang out with you. I've been really quiet since the board meeting. Well, that's because I hadn't taken a day off since they removed my principal out of the school. So I decided to take a few days off and just let my body relax, because I need that. I need to be able to regroup. I came across something today and I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it. We're gonna open the screen and then we're gonna get into it. Let's make sure that we got it set right. Let's share screen. Okay. We're gonna go here and we're going to share the screen. We're gonna play this video first, and then we're gonna talk about it.
Be in good company with KHOU 11 and Premion.
Tonight, activists say the man that shot and killed a robbery suspect at a Southwest Houston taqueria earlier this month took things too far. Maria Aguilera joins us from outside the restaurant. Maria.
Marcelino, the local activist who spoke with us today, made it clear they do not condone the actions of the robber at this taqueria. They said they do believe the actions of the man who shot and killed him went beyond self-defense. Now, the incident happened at this taqueria on Gessner near Bel Air, January 5th. And on surveillance video, you can see a masked man is robbing customers when one of the customers pulls out a gun and shoots the suspect several times. Earlier this week, the attorney representing the shooter released a statement on his client's behalf. It said the shooter wishes to remain anonymous and that they believe the shooting is justified. Meantime, the activists tell us they believe the customer was within the law when shooting the man, but once he continued to shoot is when they say he took it too far.
That man went from being a law-abiding citizen to now committing criminal acts and criminal crimes. We believe, and I believe, that he should be charged with something, because we cannot have a society where our citizens are judge, jury, and executioner.
They tell us they've been in contact with the mother of the robber, and they all agree he deserved to be punished for his actions, not killed, and that everyone deserves their day in court. We did reach out to the man's attorney again for comment, but have not heard back at this time. Marcelino.
Maria, thank you.
What have you saw? Hold on a second. There you saw Darnella Wilkerson, Dr. Candace Matthews, and Quanell X, who say that the man that shot the guy in the taqueria should be charged with something. I disagree. And I'm going to disagree on a lot of levels. First of all, who knew if the gun was a toy gun? Who knew that if it had been a real gun, would he have shot him? Would he have shot somebody in there? Here the thing is, when you pull that trigger, your adrenaline gets to flowing. And when your adrenaline gets to flowing, a lot of times you don't stop pulling that trigger until you make sure that whoever's doing what they need to do has been neutralized. What they need to do. I don't agree with it, with the assessment If that gun was real, that man saved a lot of people's lives in there. Why are we defending criminals? Why are we condoning the behavior of these criminals? I don't believe that it was excessive, Keith, because is it excessive when innocent people get robbed and murdered and they get shot multiple times? And I don't hear people saying like somebody got decapitated the other day in Wharton. I didn't hear somebody say that was over the top. I didn't hear somebody say that it was excessive. I think that at the moment that it happened, that man did what a lot of these cowards walking around with guns would never do. First of all, if you don't want to get shot that many times, then don't go rob a taqueria. If you don't want to get shot that many times, don't get to waving that gun in folks' faces. See, a lot of people playing with these guns, pulling these guns out, thinking folks is playing me. The same way that them people in there wanted to go home, that man that pulled that trigger wanted to go home. Here's my question to anybody that thinks that it was excessive. What happens if that gun is real? What happens if he pulls the trigger? As an activist, I will never defend wrongness. I don't give a damn how much money people offer me. I'm not going to do it. If we're going to be out here trying to make the community better, then we going to have to stand on 10 toes when it's wrong. And Keith say then he faces the judge. Oh, you talking about them judges that let him go home for a little bit of nothing? No, that's not criminal justice reform. That's just straight up lunacy. No, I'm not feeling bad for somebody who seems like he had a great mom. I've seen the interviews with his mother. She didn't raise him that way, and you want to walk around out here in the streets and you want to do what you want to do, and when you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. He went in there, he played a stupid game, and he got a stupid prize. This ain't, and for me, Yolanda Smith, for the ones that want to play the race card, I don't care what color he was. In the Bible, it says an eye for an eye. That's what it says. I mean, but under certain circumstances, we want to defend the criminal. Oh, it wouldn't have took 7 or 8 shots for me. I go to gun training. I can hit my target from 100 yards away. It would have been 1 to 2. That's all it would have took for me. And you'd have got the same results. What we ain't finna do, well, what I'm not finna do as an activist and an advocate, I am not about to defend wrong. Ain't that much money in the world. And that's the reason that this city is out of control. Because in a situation like that, let him go see the judge. Well, he'd have got right out. He'd have got right out, man. A little bit of nothing. He'd have got right out. But those people are traumatized when he gets right out. And that's not fair to those people to have to go through that. That's not fair. And for those that believe, hold on a second. For those that believe that that it may have been excessive, you have your opinion on it. I don't believe that it was excessive. I don't think the grand jury is going to indict him. But if they do, it's a miscarriage of justice. You know, the man did turn himself in. It is what it is, and very few people out here committing violent crimes are turning themselves in. But I just do not agree with them standing with wrong. I mean, I'd love to know if they reached out. I know they reached out to his mom. Did you reach out to those people in the Trockeria that was traumatized by that man's actions? Did you reach out and see how any of them are doing? I'm not looking for likes. I'm not trying to get more friends. I'm just here to tell my truth and what I believe in. And I believe that if you play stupid games, you're going to get stupid prizes. And he got his stupid prize, and that's what it is. But here's my question. How many times has he done this before? How many times has he gotten away with it? That's what I would like to know. How many times has he gotten away with it? You feel what I'm saying? Man, this thing. Okay. So I think that the punishment fit the crime. That's what I totally think, that the punishment fit the crime. Stop running around robbing people. What was wrong in this situation? Well, I'm going to tell you like this here. I got a saying, Kevin. When I'm out riding, especially at night, if you try to jack me, you're going to jack up on a murder. I'm going to empty the clip. I'm going to empty it. I'm not asking no questions. I'll deal with it. I don't think that at the end of the day that the person that was right in this situation, that man, so when your adrenaline, I mean, here's the question. How many of y'all have actually fired a gun at somebody? No, I ain't talking about that New Year's Eve thing, you know. How many of y'all have actually shot at somebody? How many of y'all have actually hit somebody? When you unloading that thing, man, your adrenaline is pumping. It's pumping. It's pumping, dog. It's for me, it's like you have a blackout stage. It's like you have a you're saying his life was not in immediate danger. Watch how them laws work. When he turned, let's go back and look at this thing. Let me pull this back up. Let me pull this back up for a second. Let's look at this thing. I want to look at this through the eyes of what I normally look at stuff through. Let's go in here. Let's pull it up. I'm pulling it back up. Let's put the speak on. Okay, so let's.
Taqueria earlier this month took things too far. Maria Aguilera joins us from outside the restaurant. Maria.
So what we gonna
Marcelino,
do?
the local taqueria, they said they do believe the actions of the man who shot and killed him went beyond. The shooter released a statement on his client's behalf. It said the shooter wishes to remain anonymous.
All right. I'm gonna look at it through the eyes of an attorney. Because I'm almost done. So you're saying, Keith, that according to your statement, his life was not in immediate danger. Okay, do you see this picture? He has that gun pointed at that guy sitting to the left of the screen, almost to the top left. He has that gun pointed at that man. So his life wasn't in immediate danger. His life, the guy with the gun that's going to shoot him. But how does he know that he's not going to shoot the man sitting in the corner? How does he know that? Now, when he shot him, I'm going to be honest with you. The way they train us, the way we're trained, when we go to gun training, you keep hitting your target till your target ain't moving no more. You don't know if this man going to get up off the ground. You don't know what his actions are going to be. It is what it is. He did that for what reason? What was his reasoning for doing it? And you keep saying, Keith, that his life is not in immediate danger. If that was a cop with the gun pointed to his back, would that be a justified shooting? You know damn well it would be, because somebody else's life was in immediate danger. We might agree to disagree on this one, brother. But what I'm going to say is this here. Get up. It doesn't matter, Keith, if no shots were fired. You don't wait for somebody to shoot you or you hear the bang. Man, you get my face with a gun, I'm unloaded. Every single customer in there was in danger. Every single customer was in danger at that point. We can't justify the behavior of these criminals. It doesn't have to be in his face. That's why the grand jury is not going to indict him. Watch what I tell you. Man, people are tired of these youngsters running around here robbing and killing, man. So now we're going to have a real conversation. I don't really care what happened to them. People tired of these youngsters running around here robbing and killing. Go get you a job, man. Go get you a job, man. Stop running up in people's houses. Stop running up in these businesses. And then the criminal thinks, okay, if I get hurt during the process of me committing a crime, then somebody should pay me some damages. I'm going to have to use my pronouns right now, y'all. I wish a motherfucker would. Nobody owe these people nothing. I feel bad for his mom because I'm pretty sure she didn't raise him to be like that. This is something that he chose to do. See, life is about choices and mistakes. When you make a mistake, you do something unconsciously. You didn't even know you were doing it. But when you make a choice like he made, you accept what comes with it. You accept what comes with it. I'm not on the grand jury. And I ain't never sitting on no grand juries. Because they be jacked up anyway. But I'm going to be honest with you. If they call me, say you got a notice to go to jury duty, when I get up in there, it is what it is. Know what I'm telling? He should have been shot as many times as they could have shot him. And that's what it is. He ain't getting no prison time, Keith. You want to bet lunch on it? It doesn't matter if it was a fake gun, Keith. I'm going to change the subject. I'm going to change the subject. Let me go to something else. What y'all going to do about your president out here with all these secret documents, these top secret documents? They find it, man. Y'all that had a problem with Trump and all the shit he went through in his secret documents. Can somebody give me a valid excuse why this man could keep secret documents? I don't even understand how they allowing this to go on, man. I mean, man, I had a nuclear war paperwork sitting at his house. And he just got it laying around for his dog to piss on it or something. You know, I'd like to have really, really intelligent conversations. I don't know everything, but Keith, you keep coming, so I'm gonna talk directly to you. So when I put that pistol in your face, are you gonna try to determine if it's a play gun? Or are you gonna try to determine if I'm going to shoot you? What are you gonna do? If I put a gun in your face, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Come on, man. Your finger's not working? If I put a gun in your face, what are you going to do?
The Greater Houston Frontiers Club Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Scholarship Fund.
No, that ain't what I asked you. You say, I thank God it never happened. That ain't what I asked you. If somebody points a gun at you, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What's going to be your reaction? What are you going to do? Well, Keith said, until I know it's real, I'm going to comply. Well, you know, I ain't never been in the middle of no robbery like that. But I don't think the robber gonna have a conversation with you and tell you, well, my gun is fake, Keith. Airsoft pistols look just like real 9mm. I'm not complying to a goddamn thing. I'm gonna tell you how it gonna work with me. I'm bussing, and I'm not thinking twice, because I got a rule I live by. I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. I'm different than you, Keith. Keith say gunshots really make a difference. Well, if he shoots you in your head, you're going to have enough time before you die to pick your pistol up, huh? When he got you laying on the floor leaking, because you don't know if it's real or not. Or, Keith, are you saying this because the man on the floor happened to be black? If that was a white guy laying on the floor, would you be saying this? If that was a white guy laying on that floor that tried to rob that taqueria and he was killed, would you be saying the same thing? Well, you're a humanitarian. I'm Gary Monroe. Dana Clinton, I think like 8 or 9. He shouldn't have went in there with that foolishness. You know how many people have gotten killed that did comply? Keith says, I love everyone. Well, I'm not Keith. I don't. I'm just be honest with you. I don't. I don't love everyone and I don't trust everyone. Well, he can ask for forgiveness when he get up to the pearly gates and explain to God why he was robbing the taqueria in the first place. No, it ain't no problem. That's real. You humanitarian. I'm not, dude. I mean, I don't love everybody. The Hispanic man doesn't have to ask for forgiveness. He has to deal with God on that. He killed somebody. But for the reasons that he did it, I feel that there's not a grand jury in Texas that would indict him. We'll move on to what we need and what we're talking about. As we know, Thursday night, Yates principal didn't lose a job, and Justin Moreno asked a question, real question. The trustees voted not to terminate her contract, but does the superintendent have to reinstate her as JY principal, or is he going to make her the highest paid custodian in HISD? Justin, I think Mr. Superintendent's going to put her back. That's what I came to talk to you about tonight, because in this world that we live in, some people only have respect for money. And when they only respect money, all you need to do is affect their bottom line. I spoke to a district official today. I relayed that there's a community meeting that needs to happen, that this superintendent needs to come and address the Yates community, and that includes the students, the parents, the stakeholders, the taxpayers, and the alumni. He needs to come and do that. It's the right thing to do. At that point, they need to present, show us the numbers that made you say that she needed to go. But at the same time, you're showing those numbers and she didn't have good scores here and good scores there. And okay, well, can you show us what you've done since Millard House, who authorized this termination, since he's been superintendent, what has been done to help her achieve her goal, which is your goal, HISD? Can you show us what you have done? Now, the one thing that I know they cannot do at this point, they can't make up anything. No, you did not have tutoring at Yates, but yet you say you spent $231,000 on it. Are IK programs funded properly? Nope, they're not. Our IB programs, do we have qualified teachers that teach the IB courses? No, we don't. Do you have AP classes that come with that IB program? So my thing is, why don't you take your IB program and stick it where the sun don't shine? You're putting demands on somebody that you're not providing the resources for them to accomplish the goal. But as you saw the day after the meeting, TEA won the lawsuit. Now it's going back down to the lower court. So I think it'll be another year before that gets through the court and they can do what they need to do, which is take over the school district. But in the meantime, what is their plan to make sure those kids have the resources they need at Yates to accomplish the goal academically that they've not been providing for at least the last 15 years? The thing about this is they can't come and run game on us. It's unfortunate what they did to Michael McDonough over at Bella. And Mike decided to retire instead of fighting them. That was the reason that Guillory's picture and all this was leaked out to the media, to put massive amount of pressure on her through an embarrassment phase of doing it to make her resign, or make people believe, and even trustees believe, that she may have committed some type of wrong. If she would have resigned, or if they would have fired her, the real story would never come out. It would never come out. I'm going to say this. Oh, they going to put her back. Man, they going to put her. Man, all I did, Justin, was take a few days off. That's it. And I needed it. I need to rest. I mean, my body was tired. And not because of that night, because since they did it, I have not been sleeping. I've been working, constantly working. getting an hour here, hour there. And I will say, oh, he gonna put her back. Because now we're going to affect his bottom line. Let me put it to you like this here. The kids now know that their principal didn't do anything wrong. So unless you have a situation where they want to end up in a court case, which they'll end up losing that also, you sure you don't want to put her back? We're going to affect your bottom line. Let's just put it like this here. You got 4 days to come up with a community meeting. If arrogant house with the ego that's bigger than a Dunkin' Donut decides that he wants the buck, we're going to affect your bottom line and you won't make $1. Oh, well, that's just Yates. You forgot. We all rocking with each other. So you probably won't make $1 at a bunch of schools, bro. See, because one thing I know right now, Mr. House, you don't have the power. I do. You don't have a leg to stand on in the Black community. I'm going to put it out here and I'm going to say it the way that it's been presented. Not by those communities, but by Millard House himself. When there is an issue in the white community, he hurry up, he goes to the community, he tries to solve it. He tries to solve it. He tries to comfort the white community. But when there's an issue in the Black community, he has yet to show up. Our voices are just as important as our white neighbors. And Mr. Superintendent, you're going to start listening to our voices or we are going to start affecting your bottom line. So how do we not affect his bottom line? Take that L, do what's right, put her back in the school, let her finish her year so that she can retire gracefully. And if you choose not to, that is your decision, HISD. But I can promise you, you're going to make national news again, and you're going to regret it. And all that's doing is putting additional nails in the coffin of the superintendent. And while you're making national news, every school district around the country is watching. And as they're watching, they're making up their minds, this is not the man we ever need to hire. So now you're jeopardizing your future earnings and your future livelihood because you want to stroke your own ego. Millard, you're no longer in control of the chessboard. I am. Max Mall, can you spin the narrative on that one? I love Max Mall. I like Max because Max thinks he's a high-powered, I guess, Ivy League educated cat that can just take any bad scenario and turn it around because he's a communication director. Sit your silly ass down. You no longer control this chessboard. I do. And that's the bad thing to some people, that Monroe has a lot of power. Well, I had a lot of power before I walked in the boardroom. See, that was something that was told to Millard when he first got here, and he forgot to listen. See, Millard House has his own team, and Rick Cruz has his own team. And then there's the legal team. The legal team told both of those teams, you might not want to play with Gary Monroe when he first got here. But I think that he thought that the country boy, who's Millard House, could handle the city boy, who's 5-star. But what you didn't realize is while you were out in the country shutting down black schools, I was down here in the city keeping them open. See, Millard, you never bite the hand that feeds you. Everybody that's watching that lives in the city of Houston, your tax dollars pays Millard House. And did you like the show that he put on the other night where he could not answer one question? And it wasn't because he needed to give it to Dr. Bird. It's because he couldn't answer it. And how long are the trustees going to sit up there before they go into closed session and check this dude about reading off of his iPad? Anytime he's speaking, it's coming off of his iPad. And when he can't answer the question, that's because the answer isn't on the iPad. So are we paying an educated man to run our school district, or are we paying a dummy? I think it's the latter. We're actually paying a dummy. Now, Millard, I will tell you that I am going to affect your bottom line. And it ain't a damn thing you can do about it. Remember, I think Miss Erica just said it the best. Let me go back and let me find out what he said. I say this all the time. If you pass the first lick, you don't get to tell me how to fight. If you pull a Derringer out to rob me and I pull out a 9mm and empty the clip on you, how is that excessive if I'm in fear of my life? But her first part of her statement sums it up. If you pass the first lick, you don't get to tell me how to fight. You know why I say that is a profound statement? Because, Millard, you passed the first lick. Now you don't get to tell me how to fight. And contrary to popular opinion, I don't get tired, Millard. I don't get tired. I don't get sleepy. I don't get restless. I am relentless. And now that I'm after you, I am not going to stop until you are removed as the superintendent of the Houston Independent School District. You have problems, my friend. And honestly, between me and you couldn't win this battle if you had help. You could go get the best legal minds in the business, and you can't win this battle. Because I want you to visualize this. Millard and Max and Sean, and there's one person that the superintendent, his cabinet, as well as the trustees have to listen to. And it ain't the TEA commissioner. It's the kids. So at your next board meeting, it will be flooded with crimson and gold. Again. And now, the children who you have left for dead, the children who you don't provide resources to, no tutorials, no reading specialists, the children that you've just thrown away, Millard, will now sit in front of you. And when they sit in front of you, give them the same respect that you give Mr. Bird and all your cronies. You've disrespected the legacy of Jack Yates Senior High School. And my job for the last 14 was to protect the legacy of Jack Yates Senior High School. And now you will answer to me. I don't know if you think that's a real statement. We don't need your people down there trying to have private conversations with us. And I heard that y'all supposed to meet with some alumni. Well, guess what? Whoever that may be ain't in our consortium. And whoever that may be, they don't speak for the masses. Because a real Yates line ain't gonna talk to you right now. You got to come to the house. Bring your behind to 3650 Alabama and sit in that auditorium the same way you sat in that gym when you thought it was a game when you fired our principal. Now, you don't have to do anything, Millard. You realistically don't. But for every action, there's a reaction. I'm going to make you smell my cologne, country boy. And I'm going to put you on a plane with your family the same way I've done some other ones. See, what you didn't know, Millard, 62 major people in HISD, from chiefs of schools to superintendents to janitors, have lost their livelihood playing with me. And when you leave, and I recommend you do, take Rick Cruz with you. Because if you don't, he's going to jail. Take him with you, my friend. See, the one thing we know in this game that we're in, when there's a sizable amount of money that comes to a school district, the corruption follows it. When there are billions of dollars that show up with HISD, somebody always gonna skim off the top. I got you, bro. I got you, bro. You the man in charge, whether you knew it or not. So here's my thing. Why don't you call Rick into a private meeting and ask Rick, what have you done that this man would think is a violation of federal law? Call him in. The one thing I know about life is you probably can deal with some messed up truth. You just can't do the bullshit lies. Tell Rick to come in and talk to you. Tell Rick to come in and tell you about his vendor friends. Tell Rick to come in and tell you the truth of maybe there may be a conflict of interest. See, a conflict of interest is not a violation of state or federal law. But when money has been spent and services have not been rendered in a government entity, that is a violation of federal law. And I can promise you one thing. I'm going to make you smell my cologne. It is in your best interest, Millard House. You have 4 days, starting Tuesday morning, 4 consecutive days, to call a community meeting and get your behind down to 3rd Ward. Don't worry about me being a disruption, because I don't have to be. But it's time for you to face these people and face those children. Because if you can't come to their house, they're coming to yours next month. You don't get to do our children like you've done them and think that there won't be repercussions for your actions. Because I know that there's something that wasn't in Tulsa. There's something that was not in Clarksville, Tennessee, Millard. You didn't have a Gary Monroe in either one of those cities. But now you here with me. You remember that first virtual meeting we had, the only time we've ever met? You remember that? I remember it like it was yesterday. You wanted to step into my arena. Now, I get to play the game the way that I want because you swung the first lick. And I'll say this for her because she'll never say it to you. She's not even built that way to say what I'm going to say. But on behalf of every Yates alumni, every parent, every stakeholder, every taxpayer, and everybody that's walked those hallways in some capacity, whether teachers or student, you can kiss our ass. And I mean what I say. How it felt the other night when you had to tuck your tail. Oh, and by the way, Millard, probably one of the first times in history that the board, minus Reggie Bush, that the board has not fired that person just because it was brought up for termination. That tells me that the board members are listening. That tells me that the board members have their own brains and they just ain't believing the actions of this rogue administration. You have 4 days to get down to Third Ward, or I am going to apply massive pressure. You have 4 days to get down to Third Ward, or I am going to affect your bottom line in a way that you have never seen in your life. Remember what I told you. Tuck your tail, country boy. Get your behind down to Yates and do your job. And if you refuse, it won't matter. You won't have the job long anyway.